Trump media officially signs $2.32 billion deal to buy Bitcoin and hold it as a treasury asset. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP holders. Appreciate you guys as always for sticking around and showing so much love. Let's take a look at what's happening with the price of XRP and how we could be closing the monthly candle today. As we know, today is the last day of the month, which again is crazy to think about. But if you're looking across the board, we are seeing a sea of red, a lot of red across the crypto markets. And again, if you've been following the channel, this is something we've been talking about. But once again, I don't want you guys to ignore this because yes, a lot of people tend to forget this. But if you're looking across the board, a lot of projects down, 5, 7 to even 20%, depending on what you're looking at. But XRP is only down 2.7%. So it's holding better than the broader market. There's no question about that. You guys know I bring you guys unbiased updates. If it was indeed, down quite a bit, I'm not going to just sit here and say, that it isn't. But in this case, it is holding much better than a lot of altcoins. Once again, we can clearly see that down about 2.7% with the price at $2.13. Also down 1% in Bitcoin compared with the market cap at 125.3 billion and the 24-hour trading volume sitting at $3 billion. Before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So I want you guys to take a look at this. President Trump says China has violated its tariff agreement with the US. And I think this has actually had an impact on the crypto market as well as traditional market a little bit over the last few days, to be specific. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, the month of May was quite a bullish month for the broader market. There's no question about that. The king of the market, which is Bitcoin, ended up reaching an all-time high. A lot of altcoins had explosive moves. Obviously nothing compared to what we saw earlier this year and of course late last year, but we still did see excitement coming in the crypto markets. But this announcement has really kind of put in that tariff a reminder once again with a lot of people, and we are seeing the market kind of seeing it being impacted. But of course, we are coming on a monthly candle close as well. And if you know anything about technical analysis, usually during the monthly candle and the end of the month, we do tend to see a little bit of volatility within the crypto markets, especially with Bitcoin. And that is also something I am factoring in because of course the battle between the bulls and the bears to see who ends up winning. And right now, bears do have a little bit of a control in the short span of time. Looking at this, stable coins will overtake everything. Every financial instrument will be a crypto asset. And of course, stable coins are at the forefront of discussion at this point, especially when it comes to cross-border payments. And a stable coin, not just an ordinary stable coin, you want to see one that has that regulatory approval actually having that reserve in place, not just up in thin air that the reserve does exist. You need to have that audit in front of you, and this is where RLUSD shines. So a very, very interesting thing. But look at this, breaking record-shattering real estate deal set to hit the XRP ledger on June 23rd. A major Dubai real estate powerhouse with 48,000 homes and over 50,000 more in development is teaming up with the leading payment reward token on XRPL and could soon start accepting it property purchases. This is a game changer. Billions of dollars could flow into XRPL and the CTF token. Very interesting. Of course, in terms of XRPL ledger, getting to the level where a lot of people wanted to, get to the trillions and trillions of dollars, it's not going to happen overnight. Let's face it, it's not going to happen overnight. It is going to take some time, but if this happens and more and more of these types of announcements do occur, of course this all starts adding up then. Look at this, the S&P 500 officially posted its best month since November 2023, rising 6.2%. Of course, over the course of the last 2 months, we are pretty much coming out of a bloodbath, a little bit of a bearish trend. So we are entering into that bullish trajectory again. We came out of quite a sharp pullback over the course of the last few months, and then Donald Trump did come out and tweet about 3 to 4 weeks back that it's the best time to buy stocks. So I think that's something that needs to be factored in as well. But very, very interesting thing that we shouldn't really be ignoring. And speaking about interesting, crypto czar David Sachs explains why the US needs a strategic Bitcoin reserve. He kind of goes in this video explaining how all the Bitcoin US federal government already has, they don't want to sell it. They want to hold it because they understand, Bitcoin scarcity, and they understand, the potential of this asset. They understand that, this is a legitimate asset that needs to be taken seriously. And he also says, we don't want to sell it. We want to hold it because we understand, this could become big, obviously in the future. And also say, there needs to be an audit to kind of go over all the different assets they hold so they can come up with some sort of a strategic reserve and, hold these assets rather than selling, which again is a big, big thing. And we know about this. We've been talking about it for quite some time. And look at this, 2 days ago, I asked you guys, the community members, which coin gets the approval first for the spot ETF. 2,200 of you voted, 67 of you commented. Thank you for that. If you don't want to miss this, hit that subscribe button and turn your bell icon right next to it on so you are notified every time I do these updates. So you can see it says about 70% of these voters have come and voted for XRP, which itself shows you where the demand really lies. But look what's happening with the dominance. Dominance waked up to 64.62%, as to be expected, because Bitcoin did drop below the $106,000 as we've discussed. But look where we came down to, right at that support line I spoke to you guys about at 102,900. We got supported by that range, but I'm very, very impressed how we literally spoke about that key support line to be retested next. And that's exactly where the price of Bitcoin did end up going. So that's that. Obviously, if this support does not hold, $100,000 Bitcoin is on the table. But if you're looking at the price of XRP, look at this. You can't make this up at this point. We almost touched right at the neckline of the 38.2 at 207. If you watch my update last night, what did we talk about? If you watch my update before last night as well, what did we talk about? The 207 cents key support line to be retested. We actually did not retest exactly at the neckline. We did see, of course, a retest May 6th, which was again this month. A lot of people will forget that, but we did come very, very close to that. Again, shouldn't be rocket science for anyone, because of course right now we need to understand what's happening for Bitcoin. And of course, if Bitcoin does drop below the $102,000 down to 100K, that would make us break below the 38.2, which could take us down to the likes of the $1.99. So we'll see what happens. Right now, we're still in the 38.2. To anyone that's spooked out about this or shocked at this, I really want you guys to understand how Bitcoin's currently seeing a retracement of about 7 to 8% from its all-time high, which again is normal in a grand scheme of things, but that does have an impact on altcoins, and it is seeing an impact on XRP. But in a grand scheme of things, we're still in the 38.2, which a lot of people still overlook, but not on this channel. We're always going to be taking a look at this and realizing it. But love you all. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.